Alright, what's going on, guys? I'm here at the dealership with the Saturn. This Saturn was used as a down payment on a Hyundai Genesis. Check out my YouTube page in order to see that transaction. The video is posted there. Paper tag me. But I wanted to show you how to get this clear headlight from this. Now, obviously, this Saturn is very old, but anything could be repaired, restored to its original glory with a little time and a little know-how. For starters, what you want to have is some sandpaper. This is the sandpaper I'll be using. It's already wet. This is 1000 grit sandpaper. You don't want to really go over that because you'll actually damage the plastic and put lines and scar the plastic, so you want to avoid that, and use something a little finer like 1000 grit or 1200 grit sandpaper. You want to keep the sandpaper wet, as obviously you can see the suds there. Have your bucket of water, and what you want to do is just, so once you have the grit of sandpaper that you're going to be using, what you want to do is finally go over the headlight that you're going to be restoring. You don't want to grind too hard. You want to keep it lubricated and just go back and forth over the headlight, like so. You want to keep your sandpaper moist to avoid any scarring in the headlights, and just continue to go back and forth. You're going to start to see some type of filmy liquid coming off the headlights. That's going to be partially clear coat and partially dirt. You know, bug exoskeletons and so forth. When you're driving, your headlights come into contact with all the stuff on the road, the air, and various other insects and whatever else is out, you know what I mean, while you're driving. A couple passes should do the job. Okay, once you rinse the filmy water off and the filmy gunk off the headlights, then you can move forward to the next step in this process, which will actually be polishing the headlight itself. You want to have a nice compound. This is heavy duty compound. This stuff is pretty strong. It can actually take the paint right off this off the car itself. So you don't really need much. You can use a cutting compound and then this heavy duty compound. This is heavy duty compound. I actually use it a lot. I'm more comfortable using this than the softer compound. So I'm going to be using the heavy duty compound. You can use whichever compound that you feel more comfortable with. I would recommend, if this is going to be your first time using compound and using a buffer machine, use the softer compound in order to avoid damaging the car itself, the paint on the car. So I'm going to apply this heavy duty compound to the headlight, and then I'm going to proceed with the next step. Again, because I'm more comfortable using the heavy duty compound, I'm going to apply just a little bit. It doesn't take that much. It's a stronger grade. You could actually damage the clear coat on the headlight itself. But I'm more comfortable with the heavy duty compound. If you have soft compound, use soft compound. I'm going to use this one right here. Have a nice buffer machine. This one goes up to 3,500 RPMs. I'm not going to need that many RPMs in order to restore this headlight. I'm going to start down at 600 RPMs and gradually increase the RPMs as needed. So what you want to do is smear the compound over the entire work area that you're going to be working on. Get it flat on the surface, flat as possible, and then gradually use your buffer machine. a simple back and forth motion would actually do the job. You don't need to do anything fancy because you don't want to slip from the headlight and hit the paint, and then you'd remove the paint just as easily as the paint was applied on. So you don't need that much force. Only thing you need to do is just pass back and forth gradually, constantly checking the progress that you're making. So start at a low RPM, and then you just make your passes over the headlight as needed. Gradually increase the RPMs to remove the remaining product, the remaining compound from the headlight. Again, you don't need that much force. You don't want to slip from the surface that you're working on and damage the paint on the car. Just gradually pass it back and forth over the work area. I'm going to increase the RPMs from 600 to 1,000 now. After I made the necessary amount of passes, I'm going to use a microfiber. I recommend you use a microfiber rag as opposed to a cloth or a more rough texture type rag. The microfiber actually picks up the material, and it doesn't leave as much, it doesn't shed a lot of fibers or what have you, but the microfiber itself, it works fine. And as you can see from start to finish, the headlights have been restored to match that one. Simple process. Some heavy duty compound, use whichever grade compound you're more comfortable with. Make sure the grit on your sandpaper is 1,000 or something around that area. You don't want to use too strong a grit sandpaper to actually damage the headlight itself. And then from that point, wipe it with your microfiber, with your rag, and then you will see the headlight has been restored. Easy.